Indianapolis, January 29th, 1992. Wednesday morning, day 3 of the trial. The Marion County Superior Courtroom is suffocating with tension. Every seat occupied. Standing room only in the back. Journalists from 50 countries. This is the day everyone has been waiting for. The day Desiree Washington takes the stand. 18 years old, college freshman at Providence College. Miss Black, Rhode Island, 1991. The woman accusing Mike Tyson of rape. For 2 days, the prosecution has been building toward this moment. Medical experts testified about injuries consistent with sexual assault. Desiree's roommate testified about finding her traumatized and crying after returning from Tyson's hotel. The limousine driver testified about the dramatic change in Desiree's demeanor between going to the Canterbury Hotel and leaving it. Expert witnesses explained rape trauma syndrome, but none of that matters as much as what happens today, because this case, like most rape cases, comes down to credibility. The jury needs to decide who to believe. Mike Tyson, sitting at the defense table in an expensive suit, surrounded by high-powered attorneys, backed by millions of dollars and worldwide fame. Or Desiree Washington, a teenager whose name nobody knew 6 months ago. At 9:47 a.m., prosecutor Greg Garrison calls Desiree Washington to the stand. The courtroom goes completely silent. You can hear the air conditioning, the shuffle of a notebook, someone's breath, nothing else. Desiree walks from the back of the courtroom. She's wearing a conservative dress, hair pulled back, no jewelry, no makeup beyond the basics. She looks younger than 18, small, vulnerable, scared. She takes the oath, promises to tell the truth, sits in the witness chair, looks at the prosecutor, doesn't look at Mike Tyson, not once. Garrison starts gently, asks her to state her name, her age, where she's from, basic questions designed to make her comfortable, to show the jury she's a real person, not just a name in legal documents. Desiree answers quietly but clearly. Her voice doesn't shake. She's nervous but holding it together. Garrison asks her about the Miss Black America pageant, why she was in Indianapolis, what her experience had been like. Desiree describes the excitement of competing, of being selected to represent Rhode Island, of meeting other contestants from around the country, of feeling like this was an important opportunity. Then Garrison asks about July 18, 1991, the day she met Mike Tyson. Desiree's energy shifts. She becomes more careful, more measured. She describes being at a rehearsal for the pageant. Tyson was there as a celebrity guest. She and other contestants were excited to meet him. He was Mike Tyson, the most famous boxer in the world. Tyson approached her specifically, started talking to her, flirting, asked for her phone number. She gave it to him. Why wouldn't she? This was Mike Tyson showing interest in her specifically. It felt special, felt like recognition, felt like opportunity. Later that night, around 1:30 a.m., Tyson called her hotel room, asked her to come out with him, said they'd go to a party. She said yes, got dressed, went downstairs. His limousine was waiting. Garrison asks what she expected to happen that night. Desiree says she thought they were going to a party, thought other people would be there, thought it was a chance to spend time with someone famous in a social setting, maybe take some pictures, make a memory. She didn't think anything else would happen. Instead, the limousine took her to the Canterbury Hotel, Tyson's hotel. He said they needed to stop by his room briefly before going to the party. Said it would just take a minute. Desiree says she felt uncomfortable but didn't want to seem rude, didn't want to insult Mike Tyson, didn't want to ruin the evening by being difficult. So she went up to his room. Room 606. The courtroom is absolutely silent. Every juror is watching Desiree. She's not crying, not breaking down, just telling her story in a steady, quiet voice. Garrison asks what happened when they entered the room. Desiree describes Tyson immediately becoming physical, grabbing her, kissing her. She tried to push him away, tried to laugh it off, tried to signal she wasn't interested. He didn't stop. She says she told him she wanted to leave, told him she didn't want to do this, told him no, multiple times. He ignored her, kept going, became more aggressive. She describes him pulling off her clothes despite her resistance, Describes trying to fight back but being completely overpowered. Describes him forcing himself on her. Describes the pain, the fear, the realization that she couldn't stop what was happening. Describes it being over and him telling her to leave. No tenderness, no apology, no acknowledgement that he'd done anything wrong. Just get out. Garrison asks her to describe her physical state when it was over. Desiree says she was in pain, bleeding. Her clothing was torn. She was shaking. She felt destroyed, felt violated, felt like something fundamental had been taken from her. She got dressed as quickly as she could, left the room, got in the limousine, went back to her hotel. Garrison asks if she considered not reporting it. Desiree says yes. She knew how these things went. Knew people wouldn't believe her. Knew Tyson was too famous, too powerful. Knew she'd be called a liar, a gold digger, someone trying to get attention. But she also knew what happened was wrong. Knew she couldn't let him get away with it. Knew other women might be at risk if she stayed silent. So she told her roommate immediately. Went to the hospital the next morning. Reported it to police. Did everything she was supposed to do even though she knew it would destroy her life. The direct examination lasts 2 hours. Garrison walks Desiree through every detail, every moment, every choice, every fear. By the end, several jurors are visibly emotional. One woman is wiping tears. The men look angry. Not at Desiree, at what happened to her. Then comes cross-examination. Vincent Fuller, Tyson's lead attorney, approaches the witness stand. He's been doing this for 30 years. He knows every technique for breaking down a witness, for creating doubt, for making a victim look like a liar. Fuller starts by attacking her decision to go to Tyson's hotel room. Asks if she really thought they were going to a party at 2 a.m. Suggests she knew exactly what Tyson wanted. Suggests she went willingly. Desiree stays calm, says she believed him, says she had no reason to think he'd lie, says women should be able to trust what men tell them without assuming they'll be assaulted. Fuller asks why she didn't scream for help, why she didn't try to run, why she didn't fight harder. Desiree looks directly at Fuller, says she was 108 pounds. Tyson was 220 pounds of pure muscle, the most dangerous fighter in the world. Fighting harder would have gotten her hurt worse or killed. Fuller asks why she didn't report it immediately, why she waited until the next day. Desiree says she was traumatized, confused, in shock. She needed time to process what happened before she could talk about it. Fuller suggests she made up the rape story after having consensual sex with Tyson. Suggests she was angry he didn't want a relationship. Suggests she saw an opportunity to get money and fame from a false accusation. Desiree's voice gets stronger. She says firmly that she didn't make anything up, that she has nothing to gain from this, that coming forward has ruined her life, that she's been harassed, threatened, called every name imaginable, that if this was about money or attention, she picked the worst possible way to get it. Fuller tries for an hour to break her, tries every angle, every attack, every suggestion that she's lying. Desiree doesn't break, doesn't contradict herself, doesn't get angry or defensive, just tells the truth consistently over and over, no matter how many ways Fuller tries to twist it. By the time Fuller gives up and ends his cross-examination, something has shifted in the courtroom. The jury isn't looking at Desiree with skepticism anymore. They're looking at her with respect, with belief, with anger at what was done to her. Mike Tyson's defense team knows it. You can see it in their body language. The confidence is gone. The certainty is gone. They just watched their entire strategy fail in real time. After Desiree steps down, the prosecution calls several more witnesses. But everyone knows the case was won or lost during those 3 hours. The medical evidence matters. The corroborating testimony matters. But what really matters is that 12 jurors just watched an 18-year-old girl tell a horrific story with such consistency, such detail, such obvious truth that there's no reasonable way to doubt her. Over the next week, the defense tries to recover. Calls character witnesses who say Tyson would never do such a thing. Calls medical experts who suggest the injuries could have occurred during consensual sex. Calls people who claim Desiree seemed fine before and after. None of it works, because the jury has already made up their minds. They believed Desiree Washington. On February 10, 1992, after 9 hours of deliberation, they return with their verdict. Guilty on all 3 counts. The moment the verdict is read, Mike Tyson's empire begins crumbling. Not just his boxing career, everything. Endorsement deals canceled immediately. Sponsors dropping him. Corporate partnerships dissolved. His public image, carefully constructed over years, destroyed in seconds. The man who was untouchable, who seemed above consequences, who embodied invincibility, reduced to a convicted rapist heading to prison. The sports world reacts with shock. Some defend Tyson, say he was railroaded, say Desiree was lying. But most people, especially women, feel vindicated. Feel like finally, maybe, powerful men can face consequences for what they do to women. 3 months later, Tyson is sentenced to 6 years in prison. Serves 3. His boxing career interrupted at its absolute peak. He was 25 years old, in his prime, unbeatable in the ring. All of it stopped because of what he did in a hotel room and what Desiree Washington had the courage to testify about in court. The impact of Desiree's testimony extended far beyond that courtroom. It became a reference point. Proof that victims could be believed. Proof that fame wasn't immunity. Proof that a young woman with nothing but the truth could stand against one of the most powerful athletes in the world and win. Years later, during the Me Too movement, lawyers and advocates pointed to Desiree Washington's testimony as a watershed moment. One of the first times in the modern era where a celebrity of Tyson's magnitude faced real consequences for sexual assault, where the victim was believed despite enormous pressure to stay silent, where the system worked the way it's supposed to work. Desiree herself largely disappeared from public life, changed her name, avoided media, built a life away from the spotlight. She never wanted to be famous, never wanted to be a symbol. She just wanted justice. She got it. But the cost was enormous. The harassment never really stopped. Tyson's supporters blamed her for destroying their hero, sent threats, spread lies, made her life difficult in ways most people will never understand. She paid a price for telling the truth, a price that shouldn't exist but does. Mike Tyson eventually rebuilt his public image, became a pop culture figure again, did movies, television shows, a one-man show about his life, talked about his past with what seemed like remorse. But he never fully admitted what he did to Desiree Washington, never gave her the complete acknowledgement she deserves. The 1992 trial showed the world something important, that 3 hours of testimony from a teenage girl could be more powerful than millions of dollars, armies of lawyers, and worldwide fame. That truth spoken clearly and consistently is unbeatable. That courage looks like an 18-year-old sitting in a witness chair, looking at a prosecutor instead of her rapist, and refusing to be broken no matter how hard they try to break her. Desiree Washington's testimony shook Mike Tyson's empire, not with drama or spectacle, with something simpler and more devastating, with truth, with consistency, with the kind of credibility that can't be manufactured or bought or argued away. That's what happened in court that day. That's what changed everything.